cheerleader with the Anaheim Ducks. And one time we were like waiting outside. Have you ever heard of Bubba Gump, the restaurant?
I have not, no.
Right, well, it's like a seafood restaurant based off of Bubba Gump and Forrest Gump. And we were outside. Yeah, so we were outside.
I think I might have been there.
We were outside the
I might have
restaurant.
been there when I was little.
We were outside the restaurant. There was like a good amount of us, and we were waiting for them to seat us, so we were waiting outside. And someone walked up and like, right as she was in the middle of like talking with her sister, they just interrupted. Oh, are you one of the Anaheim Duck cheerleaders? You look familiar. She's like, yeah, but I'm kind of in the middle of a conversation with my sister right now. And the guy's like, can I get a picture? She goes, I'm kind of in the middle of something, not at the moment. And it was like very awkward.
Yeah, I've definitely been to that restaurant when I was little.
Okay.
I don't remember now. They had those like made up cups. I remember that. They had all that like Forrest Gump pictures like all over the walls and stuff.
AEW officially announced Grand Slam on September 20th. The same thing on Monday where Twitter's not letting me send it. Try refreshing it. There we go. Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Wrestling Unlimited as it's Wednesday, and that means tonight was AEW Dynamite. Now, I like tonight's AEW Dynamite. I will say that for sure. There was a couple of things. The whole John Moxley, Eddie Kingston stuff, I'm kind of still a little confused on all of that. I'm not sure exactly what this direction is, and they kind of made me even more confused tonight with the Renee stuff. When Renee yelled at Eddie to figure all this out and fix it. Like, what? No, it's not on Eddie. It's on John. Does he want to be with Claudio or does he want to be with Eddie? We'll talk about that later, but it's like, I don't know. And then they finally used Renee in a non-just interviewer role, I guess you can say. Was this, I'm going to ask you, was this the first time we've seen Renee, like, get involved in a storyline type of thing like this? In AEW, at least?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, because usually she's just interviewing, And then, like, she's done interview stuff and kind of like insinuated I'm Moxley's wife when interviewing somebody or whatnot. But this one, she was completely in the middle involved. So, yeah, that was new and different. And I did not expect that at all. Also, Moxley got messed up in that Ishii match.
Yeah.
Like, they had to stitch him up and everything. But what did you think of tonight's show?
Honestly, kind of like the same amount of ups as they did, the same amount of downs.
Okay.
Like, just okay.
I can see that.
There was a lot of stuff on the show that I didn't like. There was some on the show that I thought was okay.
Yeah, I could see that. Kind of an up and down show. But with that, I want to say thank you guys if you're watching live, whether that's live on Twitch, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, or live and later on YouTube, youtube.com/PW Unlimited, or if you're watching or listening actually on podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and they always give you one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to head over and become a channel member over on YouTube, and finally, head to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game like Dead Island 2, whether you're claiming the free games, Idol Champions of the Forgotten Realms, or the Hunter Call of the Wild, which are only free till tomorrow. And then after tomorrow, what's the free game for that? Starting on tomorrow will be the Dungeon of, I'm going to butcher this name, the Dungeon of Nahebwek. Okay, Nebulek. I don't know. Or you're getting into Fortnite. You want to get that new season? You want to get Optimus Prime? Use our code PW Unlimited at checkout for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. Also, just so you guys know, after this stream, maybe 20, 30 minutes after it's over, I'm going to be right back here live and on my personal Twitch, twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy, playing some AEW Fight Forever. So we're going to be streaming that game tonight as well, right here, PW Unlimited on YouTube, and then over twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy. So we'll be doing that as well tonight following this podcast. But as far as AEW,
Played a little bit yet?
Oh yeah, I'll just say it. I've had the game for a week. They gave me full transparency. THQ provided me with a review code on PS5, so I've had the game for a week. I will say there are bugs. Like, me and my roommate were playing over the weekend, and I was Cody Rhodes. Like, it doesn't matter who I am for this bug, but I was Cody, and he was, I don't remember who he was now, but I would watch. Like, give me a controller. So we're playing, and I'd go to move this way, and Cody would literally move the opposite direction. So I'd move the stick one way, and he'd walk the other way. So, like, I tried to, like, I was kind of towards the, here's the exact example. I was kind of towards the turnbuckle, and I tried to walk out towards the center of the ring. Cody literally turns and walks right into the turnbuckle. I'm like, are you kidding me? It happened 4 times in one match where he would walk the opposite direction. And then I'll even say this, they changed the whole mechanic of the game, kind of. And I don't know if you would call this a mechanic, but when I first loaded up the game, the first wrestler I was Bryan Danielson. I went in there, you pick your wrestler, and then you pick options. The options allows you to turn on a manager or to change your attire. Well, when I first loaded up the game, went in, boom, Danielson's got 3 attire. His normal, one with an AEW T-shirt, and an all gold gear. So then, like, the next day, I go to play. I played enough where I unlocked the Young Bucks gear. I unlocked Britt Baker's gear. And then I go to play a female match as Britt Baker, and I can't change her gear. I go to options, no option there. What I found out is they took it out of there. Now, if you want to have alternate attires for wrestlers in this game, you literally have to waste your time going to create a wrestler, click modify wrestler, pick the real wrestler you want, click create new preset, and then pick one of the alternate attires and set it to a preset instead of it just already being there ready for you to go like it was last Wednesday. Within, like I said, on Thursday night, they had changed it where you have to now set it yourself before it's there for you to do in your game. Pretty annoying. Like, if you have alternate attires, just have them ready there. Why do we have to go in and waste our time setting the alternate attires? Like, Omega's got 5 different attires. The regular one, no, I can't remember if it's 5 or 4. Regardless, that means you got to waste all that time going in and setting the preset for 3 extra Omega attires if you want to be able to switch between all of them. Kind of annoying. Also, I don't know if anybody has seen, have they said when we're going to get Owen Hart and Brody Lee? Because they're not in my version of the game. I don't have Owen Hart or Mr. Brody Lee. And they said they were both going to be in the game.
I don't know, but like, no, I saw someone stream it earlier today. They were in a ladder. They were doing like a ladder match. They were Powerhouse Hobbs, and they were taking on Hikaru Shida. Went outside to go get a ladder, and Hikaru Shida was just like frozen in the ring. And I'm just like,
oh, I saw one where it was Adam Cole and Darby at the top of a ladder. Adam Cole grabs Darby to suplex him off the ladder, but he like grabs him. They then both fall off the ladder. They're standing on the mat now. He still does the superplex. They fall through the ring, and then the TNT title is just sitting in the ring all of a sudden. And then the replay also shows them fall through the ring at a camera angle where the camera is under the ring. What? Like, that's weird. So, I haven't encountered too many bugs, but I've seen people posting video of a number of different bugs. So hopefully they fix all that stuff. But as far as
definitely
go for it.
Yeah, I keep seeing the same thing. Like a lot of people who have like played it early and they're like giving feedback on it. They're just saying like, yeah, there's a lot of bugs in it.
IGN gave it a 6 out of 10, saying there's promise, but there's so IGN's. I'll read it because I think IGN had a really, really good like verdict of their review here. I'm gonna go for it really fast, and then we'll get into the Dynamite thing. AEW Fight Forever. So I'll just read the last part of their review. Again, they gave it a 6 out of 10. I would have gave it like a 7.5, but their review is, quote, unrealized potential, end quote. Feels like the story of AEW Fight Forever as a whole. So much of it feels like a very good start, going full gear with bouncy animations, the quick pace of the action, and fun and effective character design. But almost all of its good ideas are hampered by bugs and opaque or outright useless systems. Its big single-player mode is poorly written, which is their Road to the Elite mode, their story mode. It's also out of, poorly written, though it's a relative breeze to complete and full of branching options. It's all out of good ways to point you to them. There's a strong foundation to bet double or nothing on a sequel down the road. And I think there's still fun to be had here with like-minded friends who are content with casually beating each other up. But there is no wrestling game revolution. So they're saying like, if AEW were talking about changing the game here with this game, they didn't. It's just a basic ass wrestling game. So, yeah. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the exploding barbed wire match kind of sucks. Like, if they didn't put this in the game, they could have. All I'm saying is the barbed wire match is not as fun as you would think it is. It ended really just in the end is a regular match because you're playing, and in the first 120 seconds is when the explosion goes off. After that, it's just a match where sometimes you'll run the ropes and you'll get electrocuted. But I didn't notice, first off, the explosion had no impact on any wrestler in the ring. Like, it didn't cause a finish. It didn't. I've done that twice now, the exploding barbed wire match. It didn't hurt the wrestler enough to get pinned. It didn't give you anything for throwing somebody. I didn't see a reason for the explosion to cause any sort of effect on the wrestlers in the ring as far as could help you win at that time. Because it's literally 120 seconds into the match. So it's like you're most likely still at full health anyways. But then even when you whip somebody into the ropes or accidentally walk into the ropes yourself and get electrocuted, I haven't noticed it really hurt your health that much. So in the end, it just felt like a regular match that kind of got annoying when you accidentally got thrown into the ropes, to be completely honest.
So one of the people who was invited down to like play the game early with like guys like Dank, Macho, and does everything, he
Right.
said, the game's all right. Just it's a little pricey for like what you're getting.
Oh, it is
That
not
makes
worth.
sense.
It is not worth the same price as WWE's game at all. It is not worth $60. I would say that for sure. This is like a $40 game, 50 maybe, but this should have been price pointed at $40 for how lacking this game is. Like, there's not even that many wrestlers in the game. And then looking at who's the DLC and who's in the game, FTR is DLC, but we've got plenty of people that came into this company after them in the base of the game, which is weird. Also, they took a really, really big shot at goddamn Brock Lesnar in this game. Because if you guys don't know, Brock Lesnar, when he was in the UFC, got sick with diverticulitis. Well, when you're going and looking at moves and you find the F5, it is called diverticulitis in the game, the F5. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Plus, they've got Finn Balor's demon entrance. They've got Roman Reigns. They've got legit Rey Mysterio's entrance where he runs to one side of the ring or the ramp and goes, duh, yeah. And then he runs to the other side. And yeah, like they literally got the full animation of Rey Mysterio's entrance. They've got Dana Brooks, like when she does this entrance for females. They've got Sasha Banks' little dance. Like, there's so many WWE references and stuff in this game. And Create a Wrestler kind of sucks anyways. Like, we went through and looked at everything because me and my friend were playing the other night. And she's like, let's create a wrestler and see what they have. And I'm like, okay. And so we went through and it's so lacking on different things. There's 50 million versions of flags in this game as far as like every hat, every shirt, every pants has a variant with a different flag on it. But there's not many options for other, like, it's very, very bare bones. I will say that for sure. Especially Create a Wrestler. Like, there's not, you would think they would know that the wrestling community loves Create a Wrestler and they would put time and a lot into it. It's a very bare bones Create a Wrestler. Like, they say this is the predecessor to No Mercy. The Create a Wrestler is maybe half a step up from what No Mercy's Create a Wrestler was, if I'm going to be honest. Now, I will say, the character models themselves look better when you're actually playing it than seeing some compressed Twitter or YouTube video. So I will say the game looks better when you're playing it yourself on your own TV than if you're watching like a clip of it or something. So that's a positive. The art style does look better in person when you're playing it, but we'll be streaming that later on tonight. So let's get through all of this. The show opens up and we go straight to our opening contest. It's Jon Moxley with Tomohiro Ishii. These two had a similar intensity early on, and we've also seen these two battle before. They had I want to say it was Meltzer gave it a 5 stars. Meltzer gave their match in the G1 they gave it 5 stars in 2019. That match was great. This match not as good, but it's also not a G1 match. So Ishii fired off a corner shoulder tackle early, so Moxley responded by biting at his nose, with Ishii returning the favor. Moxley sent Ishii to the floor and wiped him out with a tope before taking a victory lap in the crowd. Claudio and Yuta surrounded Ishii until Eddie Kingston's music would hit. He walked out, grabbed a chair, and argued with Moxley, heading into a commercial break. Moxley then connected with a neck breaker on the apron to remain in control. Ishii started no-selling and absorbing Moxley's forearms that led to a huge superplex for a 2. Both men started trading forearms again. As the longer it went, the more the fans got into it. Ishii hit a combo but Moxley spun around and dropped Ishii with a Gotch style pile driver. There were some anvil elbows from Moxley that led to Ishii flipping him off. Moxley then slapped on a bulldog choke. Moxley then hit a King Kong lariat, which Ishii kicked out of at 1. Both men then traded knee strikes, and Moxley kicked out at 1 in return, with both men collapsing. After trading nasty headbutts, Moxley was bleeding, and bleeding bad. Moxley had just this gashing hole in the center of his forehead that he had to get. It looked like when he came out later, he had stitches. Moxley connected with a paradigm shift, but Ishii kicked out. Ishii avoided a Death Rider into a paradigm shift and a hard lariat for a 2. Ishii no-sold the cutter and hit a sliding lariat, but Moxley spun out of a brainbuster into a Death Rider for a close 2. Ishii then hit a desperation Enziguri, but Moxley answered back with the curb stomp and one more Death Rider for the victory. So there we go. Moxley does defeat Tomohiro Ishii. After the match, Kingston applauded Moxley for winning. Moxley kind of just brushed him off and left with Yuta and Claudio. I don't know where this fucking storyline's going, but what'd you think of the whole thing?
It was okay. I like putting too much people in this like storyline and stuff, and like
yeah, that's why I said I'm confused.
The whole Takeshita thing, like Takeshita, like officially in Blackpool Combat Club, or is he just a guy that just hates the Elite just as much as BCC?
Correct. The second one. He's not in the BCC. He just is with them, in a sense. But it's like, what was the reason for Eddie Kingston to come to ringside if he actually ended up doing nothing? Nothing at all.
That's what I didn't like either.
Like, there was no reason for Eddie Kingston to be there. But to tease using the chair and Moxley saying don't do it and then you don't do it? I don't know. I liked the match, but I wasn't a fan of some of the other stuff that ensued. Renee Paquette is backstage, and she talked about Adam Cole and MJF being teammates in the Blind Eliminator tournament. And here's my question about this Blind Eliminator tournament. Didn't Tony Schiavone and RJ City last week say that they were going to reveal the full brackets? Didn't they say the brackets?
I don't think I heard them.
I
heard them say that, but they probably did.
They said next week we will reveal, because so they were spinning the bingo ball thing. They pulled out the 2 names that ended up being MJF and Adam Cole, and then said that the brackets will be revealed next week. Well, tonight we only learned of 2 more teams because they announced the first match. What happened? Is Vince McMahon booking this show changing things? Trap said they did. Okay, yeah. So he's saying that they said last week that the brackets will be revealed. See, the graphic they put out this morning said more teams announced. So they had changed it from last week already this morning. So, I don't know. It's like Vince changing stuff on Raw and SmackDown. But, go for it.
Like, we're getting ahead here, but like, the teams that they did announce, like, that's basically swerving our glories back together.
Well, yeah, more people that don't like each other put together on purpose. It's funny when you do one team in the tournament of guys that don't like each other. But to me, when you have multiple, the whole random draw of it is not there. And it takes my enjoyment away of, oh, these are random. It's not random when you have multiple guys that don't like each other now put as teams. You should only really do one. And again, even that isn't going to feel super random. But if you're doing more than one, then it's just, we're supposed to think, oh, there's going to be dissension with Adam Cole and MJF at points because they don't like each other. But then when you're doing that with multiple teams in this tournament, why does it even matter? Why does putting guys together? Now, if they said Tony Khan set all these up and made them teams of guys that don't like each other on purpose, that would have been one thing. But it's all supposed to be random. And how random is it when you have, at least as far as we know right now, 2 teams of guys that don't like each other? How is that supposed to, how are we supposed to suspend our disbelief in thinking that's random? We can't. and I don't like that.
They're just making it too obvious that, like,
Exactly.
oh, they're putting these teams together, like, on purpose, and it's not actually random when they say it's supposed to be.
Don't call it random if it doesn't feel random. So Renee Paquette was talking about Adam Cole and MJF being a team when Adam Cole would arrive. MJF would soon arrive as well, congratulating Cole on getting sick and not having to work Forbidden Door. He said he wished he thought of that idea so he didn't have to be there either. He said even though no one is on the level of the devil, Cole was kind of close. So he suggested that they bond this weekend, even though they went and hung out tonight. So tonight's not the weekend. Anyways, Cole reluctantly agrees as MJF's driver tosses him a shirt to give to Cole that says, "Better than you, baby." I thought that was kind of cool. The shirt, that is. But yeah. So I don't understand this. Why does MJF now want to be... I mean, unless it's the whole fact of MJF's like, screw it. If I can win the tag titles out of this, I guess I'll be nice to the guy. So is that why MJF wants to be nice to him? Or is it maybe his thinking is, and now this is just me spitballing ideas, hey, if me and this guy win and then win the tag titles, maybe he won't want to challenge me for my world title anymore. That's just me thinking. But what did you think of all this?
I think it's necessarily like a bad idea. They're trying to make like MJF and Adam like each other now. So now it's gonna like hold that storyline like even longer. And you gotta think, like All Out and All In, like they're pretty way. So make it as long as possible for this. So this is like a decent way to like make this storyline longer.
True. So then we go to the back again, where it's the BCC, Eddie Kingston, and Renee yelling at them. Renee is furious backstage, telling everybody to get their shit together. Moxley, Claudio, and Wheeler walk off. And then Renee gets in the face of Eddie and like pokes his chest and goes, "You better figure this out. You better fix this." I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I'm super confused, and not in a way of, ooh, I'm confused but intrigued. I'm confused in a way of, why is this Eddie's fault? Moxley's got to choose Eddie or Claudio. Eddie doesn't like Claudio. He wants to be friends with Mox, but says that he can't really be friends with Mox if he's friends with Claudio. So why is this Eddie's fault? Why is Renee yelling at Eddie? And I'm just more confused than anything, and not in a good way that makes me want to see more. That makes me interested in going, I wonder where this goes. Or it's more of, all right, this is getting annoying now.
I think it's either one of two things. It's either A, like Ray's telling you need to fix this because like Moxley's just out of control. You need to get him like calm down and stuff.
Maybe.
Or two, maybe it's Renee trying to like secretly trying to get Eddie Kingston BCC.
I mean, it's possible.
Honestly, I think it's the first one. Probably just like, get Moxley chill out and stuff.
Right. So as we move forward, a video package played highlighting the Kenny Omega Will Ospreay match from Forbidden Door. No Kenny on the show tonight, even though we had BCC and Elite stuff. No Kenny at all. It was kind of weird. I expected something like Kenny to come make that save and this and that, and then we ended up getting Eddie making the save. So I don't know what the hell's going on with. Well, I mean, we'll talk about it later. We're getting blood and guts, but is Kenny even going to be in that match? And if so, is Eddie going to be in the match? And if they're both in the match, then the BCC, well, no. Yeah, they're going to need to find a fifth man because they ain't got Danielson. He's out for a while with that broken arm. So, I mean, we'll talk about that here in a moment when we get to it.
Honestly, I think it's probably just going to be Kingston, the Bucks, and Hangman against BCC and Takeshita.
That's what it seems like.
Unless they add Umino in that match and then add Kenny.
They could, but that would feel a little too random. I mean, it was fine to add him in there because it was Forbidden Door. but it's like he's got no history in AEW per se. So I don't know. It'd feel too random to me. Just saying. But
I can't think of anybody else that they'd really add in there.
That's
unless
true.
they'd finally add someone else with Ashton, they keep saying, I want to grow my family.
Mm-hmm. So as we move forward, before the upcoming match, Callenberg informed us that Britt Baker is actually out with an illness. She is sick and was not able to be on the show tonight. Her match in the Owen Hart Cup tournament with Ruby Soho has been rescheduled for next week. So then, we had AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy, AAA Mega Champion El Hijo del Vikingo, and Keith Lee taking on Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker. I mean, it was a fun party match, I guess you can say. Everyone got to do stuff, but that's all it was. Stuff. That meant nothing for nothing, and I wasn't a fan of this. Like, I'd never really got into this match at all. This match did nothing for me. And then at one point, I thought Vikingo killed himself, and Keith Lee barely saved his ass. Like, life, per se.
I mean, like, Orange Cassidy's partners felt really random. Like, Vikingo literally has no history with Orange Cassidy.
Well, you saw how they set it up, right? The little video they played?
Yeah.
Basically, Vikingo was only in the match because he was in the locker room when Tony Schiavone asked him, you got another partner? And he goes, like, there's a guy sitting there. I'll just partner with him. Like, that was the dumbest shit ever.
Another thing with, like, the whole Vikingo thing, like, almost killing himself, I keep seeing, like, some people, not a lot, but, like, some people saying, like, why the heck WWE not showing interest in Vikingo? I mean, they could be, but, like, maybe a reason why they don't want to show interest and we don't know about it is, like, he needs to chill out in the ring.
Rey Mysterio told him that. Yeah. Conan said that he had Rey tell Vikingo to calm down.
If there's a guy like him that is so stubborn where he doesn't want to listen to the first guy to chill out, WWE doesn't want to deal with that.
Right. So as we move forward with this match, Vikingo used his speed early on to hit a double springboard arm drag on Garcia, who was sent flying into a head scissors and bailed, leading to Parker and Cassidy jumping in. Parker combed his hair, and Cassidy took it away. Put it in his pockets, the comb. There was some miscommunication by Parker and Menard that led to Cassidy combing his hair as Garcia tried to attack, but was trapped in a bow and arrow with Vikingo hitting a double stomp. Menard tripped up a Vikingo to allow Garcia to take over and keep a Vikingo isolated. Parker and Menard then hit their drop toe hold leaping elbow combo, but messed up when they decided to mock Lee on the apron. Vikingo made the hot tag to Lee, who steamrolled everybody until Garcia decided to do his little dance while standing on the back of Keith Lee. Things didn't really fare well for Garcia as Lee powered up and sent Menard and Parker to the floor. Vikingo then was supposed to do a dive where he was trying to dive on 2.0, Menard and Parker. They move, and Keith Lee was supposed to catch him. Well, Keith Lee barely caught him. Vikingo landed on the back of his head on the floor, and it looked like he kicked Keith Lee in the head as well at the same time. Like, this was not good. This looked bad. No. At one point, they made you think that Vikingo pissed off Keith Lee and Keith Lee was going to powerbomb him, but instead he used Vikingo as a weapon, swinging him around like a wrecking ball. Vikingo then hit a huge moonsault from the top to the floor to take out Parker and Menard. Back inside, Garcia got a 2 on Cassidy and sank in a Dragon Tamer. The match then broke down as Parker ate an orange punch, with Lee no-selling Menard's chops, ultimately planting Daddy Magic with a supernova to pick up the victory. So yeah, the baby faces get the win in a just there, way too much for my liking going on happening match. What'd you think?
I gotta agree with you on that. Like, another thing is, like, how much AEW is, like, bringing in Vikingo to do stuff. Might as well just sign him to the company. Just saying.
I mean, they would like to, but he's still under contract with AAA. He was under contract to AAA, but he's challenging freaking Claudio for the Ring of Honor title on Rampage. What? Okay. That's random. Why don't you put that on the Ring of Honor show instead of an AEW show?
Yeah, and like what did Tony Khan say when
Oh, don't get me started on that.
starting to do like Ring of Honor television? Like he said they were gonna like focus like the AEW like stuff on like the Ring of Honor stuff on Ring of Honor, not AEW.
Don't get me started on that one. We don't need Ring of Honor stuff on AEW television. You've got Ring of Honor there for a reason, to focus on the Ring of Honor wrestlers. And then the guys that are not working Ring of Honor, you focus them on your Rampage. Just saying. And like half the time, Claudio doesn't come out with that Ring of Honor title, or they don't even acknowledge him. And like tonight, he had the belt with him. But half the time, they never even acknowledge he's the Ring of Honor champion. We're in the back, and the Young Bucks and Hangman are saying that they're issuing an open challenge to any other trio in AEW. And right on cue, in comes Dark Order. John Silver tries to accept, and Hangman and the Young Bucks were like, oh, you want to team with us? I guess we can make it a 12-man, but that's kind of way too many people, and it's going to get all jumbled up. And then they go, no. Us three want to fight you three tonight. Evil Uno said the Page bailed on them, despite being there for his darkest moments, opting to side with the Elite instead of them. Page tried to explain himself. He's like, no, I don't like the BCC. They don't like the BCC. They needed me with the BCC. And they're like, no, you left us. Now we want to fight you. They didn't want anything to do with it. They didn't want to hear it. None of that. So, yeah, we ended up getting the Dark Order against the Hung Bucks. Okay, segment backstage.
Honestly, Dark Order's got more shit to deal with than the Hung Bucks right now.
Right?
I don't know if you guys watch Ring of Honor or not. Like Stu Grayson is with the Righteous now, and they're feuding with the Righteous.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that at all. Because I don't watch Ring of Honor.
That's why Stu Grayson wasn't with them tonight, because he basically turned his back on Dark Order and joined the Righteous.
Gotcha. That's interesting. As we move forward, we got a video package highlighting the Forbidden Door main event between Bryan Danielson and Kazuchika Okada, and no mention of Bryan's broken forearm, which is interesting because Bryan himself brought it up in the post-show media scrum. It's not like we just found out about it afterwards. He wore a brace and said, I think I broke my forearm. And then his wife posted a photo of his x-ray showing the broken forearm. So we know he's got a broken arm. Why not mention it? I don't know. That was weird.
I'm guessing maybe from their point of view, they probably felt like they didn't have to because Danielson already mentioned it in the media scrum. So they probably just felt like, already mentioned it, so we don't have to.
Here's the thing with that. Not everybody follows Twitter. Not everybody follows the happenings of the media scrum. You're going to have way more people watching your show on Wednesday night than is going to see that news on Twitter, most likely. So it would behoove them, if Danielson's going to be gone for 6 to 8 weeks and not be with BCC and Blood and Guts, and it would kind of behoove them to tell us why he's going to be gone. Just my opinion. So, but yeah, maybe they'll reveal that and talk about it, and maybe they're waiting for him to get the full prognosis from the doctor. I don't know. He already got an x-ray, so we'll see what we can find out. Moving forward, Renee Paquette is backstage with Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara, asking about Jericho tapping into the Painmaker persona. Jericho said tonight is bigger than Forbidden Door, as Sting and Jericho should be on TBS. And in a match commentated by Tony Schiavone. Basically saying, hey, we're going back to our WCW days, kinda. Tony Schiavone is gonna commentate a match with Sting and Jericho. He said tonight, Sting gets his nightmare of having more time in the ring with Jericho than the nightmare of the Painmaker. This was all right. It was whatever.
Oh, he kind of gave away some of the cue card stuff, though.
Oh, the cue card stuff was...
He had it on the...
That was dumb. Like, he comes out, and then they go to commercial, and then the women's match. What? Why show that on TV? Why show the cue cards and Sammy coming out on TV to go straight to commercial? It's so stupid. Especially, we didn't need it when Sammy's going to be in the main event match later. Like, the cue card stuff, to me, makes Sammy look like, not a main event guy. And so when you're doing... Go for it. I would say, when you do the cue card stuff... Well, hold on. Let me just finish my thought. When you do the cue card stuff with a guy that's supposed to be in your main event, it's kind of like, oh, so he's the extra guy. Gotcha. Go for it.
Like when he did the cue card stuff at Double or Nothing, like, that was fine.
Oh, yeah, that's completely different.
Like, you're like doing it like this, it just makes Sammy dumb.
Yeah, I didn't like it. Like, even Nick sent me a message on Twitter. I'm going to read Nick's message. He won't care if I read this. Let me pull up my Twitter. Nick DM'd me. No, let me switch. Here we go. And said, hold on. Twitter's running slow. He said, bro, did you see Sammy come out? Then the women's match randomly? And then I was like, it's his old gimmick. They do it so the crowd's not just sitting there doing nothing during a break, whatever. He goes, okay. But it was for no reason. Because they talked about the main event beforehand. He's like, this was so dumb. He said, dude, I'm here with my buddy. And we're like, baffled. Why the fuck did they show him? Exactly what he messaged me. And I get it. Why show him? If you're going to do it during the break, do it during the break. Why did we need to see him come out on the broadcast? It made no sense. It made absolutely no sense whatsoever. But hey, to each their own. So as we move on. Here, we had that trios match. It was the Hangman and the Young Bucks against Evil Uno, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds with -1 in their corner. This match was fun. Better than the other trios match, I'll say that for sure. So Nick and Reynolds had a nice back and forth to open up this match, with Nick hitting a rope walk arm drag. Silver then tagged in and wanted Page, who reluctantly came into the match. Tried to explain himself before locking up. Silver then no-sold a shoulder block and popped Page with a back elbow to escape a waist lock. This woke Page up as he tagged in Matt, as did Canada's own Evil Uno tag in as well. Good pop from the crowd here. Really in Hamilton, Ontario, or whatever it is. Hamilton. I don't know what Providence that is. I don't know. I'm not from Canada. Sorry if I offended anybody for not knowing. Uno wasted no time leveling Nick and Page on the apron, but the Bucks regained control, double teaming Reynolds and Silver until Uno wiped them out with a double clothesline. Uno jaw-jacked with Page on the apron, but turned it into a double super kick as the Bucks hit double dives onto all members of the Dark Order. The Bucks got more aggressive, telling Page to get in there and fight them, which got some boos. But he ultimately did fight them. The Bucks controlled the action and we went to a commercial break. There was some miscommunication from the Bucks that allowed Uno to take the hot tag and run wild on the Elite. Uno hit his ref-assisted neck breaker and a pile driver on Nick, but Page broke the count. Page refused to fight Uno yet again, and Uno slapped him, leading to Page making the legal tag and slugging it out with Uno. Both Uno and Reynolds took out the Bucks with double DDTs from the apron as Reynolds and Silver hit the Wombo Combo on Page for a 2. The Bucks saved Page from a pendulum bomb as Reynolds and Uno were wiped out on the floor. Page then turned Silver inside out with a lariat, but waited too long as Silver hit a Hurricane Rana counter of the Young Bucks, or of a buckshot lariat, I mean. Page then countered a home run kick from Silver into a deadeye as the Bucks allowed for the BTE trigger, and Page hit the buckshot to pick up the victory. So yes, Page gets the actual pin. What did you think of the match before we get into the post-match and all that blood and guts setup?
The match was pretty solid. Better than what I expected.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I liked it. So as we move forward, the BCC and Takeshita would hit the ring. This was weird. So, like, Claudio's in the ring with a chair. Everybody's just standing randomly in the ring like they don't know what's going on. And Claudio hits one of the Young Bucks with a chair. And Hangman's just standing there. And then eventually, like, turns his head, sees Claudio, and just lets Claudio hit him with the chair. Just, like, very weird. Then the Dark Order kind of just look at everything. And they're like, all right, bye. And just leave. So, Takeshita and Don show up. They're beating everybody down. John Moxley had a screwdriver and a popped Page with it, busting him open. Eddie Kingston then tries to run down, but gets double teamed by Claudio and Yuta. Yuta puts him in an armbar, while Claudio puts a chair over his other arm and sits on it so he can't try to get out of the armbar. Moxley then had his turn back to all of this, so he didn't see it happening. Moxley then said, it's time to end all of this. July 19th, Boston, TD Garden, blood and guts. And this man's just got the fucking thickest, most gnarly looking stitches right here in his forehead. What do you think of the attack and the setup for blood and guts? Which looks like it's going to be Mox, Claudio, Wheeler, Takeshita, Bucks, Hangman, Eddie? So Eddie's second blood and guts?
That's what it looks like. Because they'll probably have Kenny do something else in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're trying to set up him versus Ospreay again for a third time. And Danielson, he's hurt. So he won't be cleared for blood and gut.
No, he will not be cleared in 1, 2, 3 weeks. There's no way. No way he heals from, especially how clean that break is. That's a solid, because he thought maybe he fractured his forearm. No, solid clean break, right? Just right here. Solid clean break. Because you got the two bones kind of like go right here in your forearm. This side, just solid clean break. Boom, right there.
Like, during that, when that x-ray came out, like, him and his wife, said it looked worse than what they thought.
Oh, yeah, no. Bree's whole thing was the break is worse than we thought. So that means probably the 8 weeks at most, or at least I would think. Maybe he comes back sooner, but who knows?
Say, like, if he was going to, the quickest would be, 8 weeks. I can totally see him, coming back in, 10 or 11 weeks.
Yeah, because if it was a fracture, put that thing in a cast, put that thing in a brace, don't mess with it, let it heal up. But it's a break, which means you need extra time to heal a full break. So it's unfortunate, because I would have loved to see him in blood and guts. I thought that would have been great. And I bet you he would have loved to do the blood and guts match.
True.
So
You also got to think, though, because, once that injury heals, you're going to have to give him some extra time to, try to, back in shape to, wrestle again.
I mean, not maybe a little, but I don't think he's going to be out that long to where he's going to get out of shape. I mean, 2 months, he usually takes that amount of time off anyways here and there, so I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal for Danielson with the time off and stuff. We got a Owen Hart Cup tournament video package. Basically, it was highlighting all the men that are going to wrestle this weekend on Collision in the first round of the tournament. We got Roderick Strong versus Samoa Joe. We got Dustin Rhodes versus Powerhouse Hobbs. And Juice Robinson against Ricky Starks. Also, just a heads up for everybody. Let me double check. But yeah, tomorrow night, they're filming this week's episode of Collision. Collision will not be live on Saturday. And the show will be filmed tomorrow night. Just so everybody knows, spoilers will be out tomorrow. So we go back to the garage where Adam Cole's just standing around. And he looks into the camera and says something. I didn't write it down. And then just, oh, hey. It's so badly acted, which is weird for Adam Cole because he's usually a great actor. Up walks Roderick Strong. Roderick's like, hey, you can't trust MJF, right? He goes, yeah, I know, but I'm just going to see where this all leads to. He's like, in the end, Cole needs to play nice to eventually get his title shot if he wants that world title shot. So I loved MJF walks up and he looks at Roddy. He goes, hey, what's up, generic white guy? I'm like, okay. And you're not a white guy? I don't know. I just thought it was funny, just the way he said it. And then asked Cole if he's ready to go and have some team bonding. And Cole's like, yeah, sure. They jump in the SUV, and Roddy kind of gives a look like, I don't know about this one. So there we go. Any thoughts?
Honestly, Adam Cole's vibe.
Go for it. Go for it. And then I have something.
Adam Cole's vibe throughout this segment made it feel like, just get this over with. I don't really feel motivated to do it.
Yes.
So that's probably why his acting was off. Go for it.
Well, I'm trying to give me 1 second. Eddie might not be able to be in Blood and Guts. When does the G1 start? Well, yeah. Eddie can't be in Blood and Guts. Eddie can't. There's almost. I don't see Eddie Kingston being in Blood and Guts. So it's probably going to be Mox or Omega instead of Kingston. Because Eddie's going to Japan and the G1 starts on the 15th. So,
wow.
There's not going to, and I don't think he like, I'm trying to see, because I think they put the schedule out. Did they not? Trying to find the schedule to see when his first match is. Because if his first match is after, maybe. But I'm trying to find the G1 2023 schedule. He's going to be gone for a month. He's going to be gone. The G1's from July 15th to August 13th. Here we go. This full schedule. Let's see. When's Eddie Kingston's first match? So Eddie Kingston's first match is against Shingo Takagi on July 16th. He also has a match on July 19th against Evil. So yeah, there's no way Eddie's in Blood and Guts. So why would we make this? Makes no. Again, I'm confused in a way that I shouldn't be, and it's not like I'm confused but intrigued. I'm confused but like, what the hell? So Eddie can't be in Blood and Guts, even though they kind of teased it tonight. Okay.
Unless it's gonna be interesting to see how they kind of like write him off a little bit, like off of AEW television. The only way I can really think of it is injure him so bad where he has to take time off and he can't be in Blood and Guts, even though he'll be going to Japan.
They can't do that because then that's gonna make. They can't do an injury angle with Eddie Kingston to where he can't wrestle. Because that's going to be just calling their fans the dumbest fucking fans in the world. Because everybody that follows AEW follows New Japan for the most part and is going to know that he's in the G1. So I do not see them doing an injury angle because it would basically be like talking down and talking dumb to their fans. So, I mean, this is going to be interesting. It's probably going to.
I can't really think of any way to like.
Yeah.
Think of any other way you'd really like write him off.
Yeah, so yeah, he's got a match on the 19th, which is technically the 18th here, but it's still no way for him to get back in time if he were to want to do it. Because then he's got the 19th, and then his next match is the 23rd. But still, not enough time to fly back, do Blood and Guts, and then fly back to Japan. I'm looking up something really fast. All right, anyways. Then we had Jungle Boy, and oh my God, this Jungle Boy segment. What the hell did we watch? It's no longer Jungle Boy.
So bad.
It's no longer Jungle Boy Jack
so
Perry.
bad.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it's Jungle Boy Jack Perry anymore. It's Hollywood Jack Perry. That's what I'm going to call him. He comes down and they play the Tarzan Boy music, and he tells them to cut it, and that's the last time we're going to hear that song. And I honestly think that they muted and turned the crowd down, because you can see so many people in the crowd going, oh, and you don't hear it really, which is weird. So he's trying to heal it up, and he talked about how he's stuck here in Canada with all the wildfires. Perry said that he's cashing fat checks, or he says, I'm still young, I'm still cashing fat checks, and I'm banging the hottest girl here, which is a reference to his real-life girlfriend, Anna Jay. And so he said that, did I turn on Hook, or did everybody else just turn on me? He said,
I turned on you, dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
I loved you.
Right?
That made no sense.
So he said, after everything Perry has given to AEW, people expect him to pal around with a second generation entitled little fraud who is flaunting the FTW title in his face every chance he gets. He then says he never needed Hook and that their team was only popular because of him, a former world champion in tag team action. He then says he realizes that the FTW title means a lot to Hook and his family, but it means nothing to this company because it is not a recognized title. Basically saying it is not a real belt. What do I say all the time? The FTW title is nothing more than a prop. If somebody walks down to the ring, it's no. The FTW title means just as much as Cody Rhodes coming down with his goddamn weight belt. That's what I'm going to say. He says it is an unrecognized. Go for it.
Yet they're still kind of making it seem like that Jungle Boy might go after that belt.
Oh, no. He basically said he wants to take it from the family. He basically said he wants to take it from their family.
He says, like, it means nothing. So, I don't know.
He says that he knows it means a lot to Hook and their family, so that's why he's taking that from them. Before Perry can deliver his go-home line, Hook's music would interrupt. He sprints down to the ring, and Jack jumps into the crowd, runs away, and Hook chases after him. Taz then said he can't wait to see Perry get his ass whooped. The camera backstage that shows, this is funny as shit. So Jungle Boy is running, or Jack Perry is running backstage, and then he's like, open the door, and there's an SUV waiting for him, and he literally Superman dives right into the back seat. Door shuts, takes off. Hook gets there just the last late second, and then Hook gets a little mad that he didn't catch him. And I think Taz even made a reference of, oh, don't let him catch you. Hook's fast. Well, it wasn't fast enough tonight.
Really curious to see Hook is actually going to like cut a promo on Jack Perry, kind of like responding like Jack Perry's like heel turn.
I mean, they're going to have to. It's going to be the biggest.
Like,
Go for it.
Hook's never like cut a promo yet in AEW. Like the only time he's really talked when he was talking to Danhausen and said, finally got my attention. Like that was it.
Yeah. No, this is the biggest test for Hook yet. I mean, it's obvious. As we move forward, Sammy Guevara. We talked about this already, the cue card stuff. Then we move on to Ruby Soho versus Alexia Nicole, a local girl from Hamilton. This is just of course, Ruby Soho. What's where I'm looking for? Ruby Soho, like not a squash, but a feature match for her. Highlight match, I guess you could say. Soho got an early sweep and mocked Britt Baker with the DMD pose, putting boots to Nicole. Soho chucked Nicole to the floor, where she was met by boots from Storm. Is back in the ring. Soho hit a snap-back suplex. Soho grabbed the rubber gloves from Paul Turner and applied the lockjaw to pick up the victory. And there we go. Post-match, they sprayed her with the paint. Nothing here, really. Ruby did cut a one second. Ruby did cut a promo stating that 1 year ago, Britt, you beat me in the finals of this tournament, but you barely beat me, and I'm going to beat you now. Like, no. Yeah, no. Barely beat and beat. You still got your ass beat, woman. You lost. Don't be so sour. Go for it.
Still curious to see if they're ever going to do like a blood and guts match for the women, though, because like when they first started, like the Outcasts, like a lot of people thought like they're finally going to do blood and guts for the women. Like everyone keeps criticizing AEW for not doing one for the women yet, because WWE, they do war games for the women.
Yeah.
Like my biggest question here is, are they still going to do it? Be too much like blood? They did it the same night of like the men's blood and guts match.
It's possible, but I don't know.
We know there's a few women in AEW that aren't afraid to bleed. Like Britt Baker,
yeah.
she ain't afraid to bleed.
Nope. So, as we're moving forward, we got highlights from last week's Rampage where Harley Cameron was hitting on Anthony Bowens, and Anthony Bowens had to tell her, yeah, we wouldn't make a good couple because I'm gay. This clip went viral on the internet over the weekend, this whole segment. And yeah, good moment for the company.
It was funny.
Yeah, very funny.
I thought it was hilarious, though.
This then led to a backstage segment with QT Marshall, Johnny TV, and Harley Cameron. They challenged Matt Hardy and Brother Zay to a match on Rampage. Cameron then tried to do the Brother Zay moan thing, which confused Johnny and QT, but audibly popped Taz. You hear Taz on the headset laugh when she does it. She's like, ah, and Taz like, like it popped Taz. So I thought that was all for nothing. It popped Taz, so that was good.
I mean, I didn't really care much for this segment. Did you?
No. Like, and when everybody was complaining that John Morrison was just a goof sidekick to The Miz in WWE, it's the same thing he is here. Goof sidekick to QT Marshall now.
Like, this guy has like so many like names now. Like when he first started AEW, like to do like one-time things there, like he was Johnny Elite, now he's Johnny TV.
Well, he's Johnny TV because he's with QT, and QT has QTV. So dumb. So dumb.
Oh, like, is he now going to be like the new main guy? QTV? Or is it going to be Hobbs now?
I would assume it's still Hobbs. But no, or he's the QTV guy for Dynamite, and Hobbs is the QTV guy for Rampage or Collision. They could do that.
Could, but I don't know if this is a really good spot for Morrison, though.
No, not at all.
Johnny TV.
I don't like it. So Excalibur then runs down everything for the next week of programming. We do know that on Rampage, the ROH World Championship will be on the line, and Claudio Castagnoli defends against Commander. John Spears will be in action when he takes on the Blade. Hikaru Shida will go one-on-one with Taya Valkyrie. Matt Hardy and Brothers Day will take on the team of QT Marshall and Johnny TV. As far as AEW Collision does go, first off, we do know the AEW World Champion MJF will be in action. In an Owen Hart Cup match, we know that Juice Robinson will be taking on Ricky Starks. In another Owen Hart Cup match, Dustin Rhodes will be taking on Powerhouse Hobbs. In another Owen Hart Cup match, it's Roderick Strong against Samoa Joe. And finally, in a TBS Championship Open Challenge, we do know that Chris Statlander will be defending against Lady Frost. And then next week on AEW Dynamite, in an Owen Hart Foundation Cup match, we do know that Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, will be taking on Ruby Soho. And also in the Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament, known as the team of Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland will be taking on the AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. So yeah, it's everything so far announced for the next 3 shows in AEW. So then we go to our main event that actually went over the top of the hour, that actually went past the 7 o'clock Pacific time. So that was interesting that it went past
like 3 minutes over, and then like right when the match was over, they're like saying they had to hurry up and say like, all right, good night, everybody.
Well, even Excalibur goes, well, we're in overtime. He even referenced it. Like, well, we're in overtime now. As we move forward with this match, it was Sting and Darby Allin against the Painmaker, Chris Jericho, and Sammy Guevara. Tornado tag team rules, and they let us know there's basically no rules in this match other than the pin or submission has to take place in the ring. The match begins, and immediately Darby shotgun drop kicks Sammy, falls down. They both fall out of the ring. Sting then lightly gets hit with Floyd the Bat by Jericho. So Sting grabs his bat, and they start fighting with their bats like swords. Cool. Eventually, Darby did run back into the ring. Sting hit a stinger splash, but Guevara laid out Allin with a top rope cutter. Guevara and Jericho then put the boots to Sting until Guevara throws a table into the ring. Allin was launched into the ring steps, but flipped up, cleared them, and smacked his back on the barricade. This spot was awesome. This was great. Darby running, getting thrown at the rope or at the steps. The front flip that he does over the steps, over the barricade, but just barely catching his back on the rail. Fantastic. I loved this spot. During a commercial break, all four men brawled in the crowd as Jericho ripped at Sting's shirt and shoved him. Guevara then hit a leaping cutter off the barricade to the ringside floor below of Darby Allin as Guevara tended to Jericho and Sting. This allowed Allin to wipe out Guevara with the coffin drop. Sting and Allin then set up multiple tables as Allin got a ladder in position despite the tables being quite the distance away. Allin climbed the ladder, but then Sting climbed as well. Allin wanted to do a leap off the top, but Sting said no. And instead, this man jumped off the ladder and squashed through Guevara, who was on the table. I'm like, wow. Okay. Sting out here trying to kill himself. Allin then wiped out Jericho on the opposite side with a dive and a backslide drop into a skateboard from the top to the back. Jericho then sidestepped Allin, who crashed face first onto a ladder, as Jericho followed this up by dropping the ladder on Darby's spine. Allin then reversed a corner whip, and Jericho went face first into the ladder, busting Jericho open. Allin tried to go for the coffin splash, but Jericho popped him in the back with the skateboard. There was a Judas effect that sent Darby to the floor as Sting rose from the dead. He tried to go for the Scorpion Death Drop, but Jericho countered into a Walls of Jericho. Sting crawled to the bat and leveled Jericho in the head with it. Sting then hit the Stinger Splash, but as he leaped for another, Jericho hit a code breaker for a 2. Sting then ducked a Judas effect into a Scorpion Death Drop for a near fall as well. Jericho then leapt from a drop kick, but Sting caught him in the Scorpion Death Lock for the submission victory. So there we go. Jericho taps out to Sting. What'd you think of the match?
The match was pretty good. Really curious to see like where the Sammy and Jericho stuff really leads to. Like, is it finally going to lead to Sammy, parting ways with the Jericho Appreciation Society?
So on that note, I didn't really notice much tension or beef between the two tonight. Did you?
I didn't see any, but
yeah. So it's kind of like
leads to something in the future,
right? Kind of like an on and off kind of thing right now. Like we're teasing it, but we're not doing it yet. It's not for a while, so we'll just keep teasing it every so often. That's how it feels. But yeah, that was the show. AEW Dynamite. And then we move on to next week's show. Well, actually, we got Rampage on Friday, Collision on Saturday. Also on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, WWE Money in the Bank. Don't forget, Money in the Bank is in the middle of the day.
I think it's like 3 o'clock for me.
Yeah, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Are you Eastern time zone or Central?
I think I'm Central.
It'll be 2 for you.
Still pretty nice, though.
Right.
I love wrestling on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it works perfect for me because I might have a photo shoot I got to go to Saturday evening. And I would have had to pick the Money in the Bank pay-per-view over the photo shoot, but now I don't think I have to. I could do both.
Nice.
Right. But with that, guys, I forgot to do the polls, so we don't have any polls, unfortunately. That's going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Luke, tell them where they can find you.
Find me over at Twitter at Petke_21. And you can also find me over at Twitch at the Luke Petke.
Now, with that, we're not done streaming tonight. In about 20 to 30 minutes or so, maybe like 9:30 Pacific, I'm going to be back live, twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy and youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, streaming the brand new AEW Fight Forever video game. So we're going to stream that tonight. I don't know how long the stream's going to go. We're just going to keep playing. We're going to have some fun. If you guys, I don't know if the game is cross-play or not online. We'll have to double check that. But for sure, if you guys have the game already and are able to play it on PS5, maybe we can do some online matches and stuff. But we'll see how that all goes. But plan is for about 9:30 p.m. Pacific, because I'm going to go grab me something to eat first. 9:30 p.m. Pacific, I should be live playing a Fight Forever. We should have a fun time with that.
I think it's cross-platform, though.
Well, that's what I'm asking, because if it is cross-play, cross-platform, or whatever, well, cross-platform means you can save your save file between different platforms. Cross-play means you can play against people on Xbox from PlayStation and PC in this. So I don't know. Let's look it up real fast. Fight.
It is cross-play.
Forever.
Because like people said, you can like play people against people who have like Xbox and you're on PlayStation.
Awesome. I'm going to read this right here really fast this is from, and it just froze. Never mind. I'm not going to read this. So we'll figure it out once we play later. But if anybody does have the game already and wants to go do some online matches with me, I'm down. We'll do that. We'll play some other stuff. We'll check out the Creator Wrestler. We'll do all the things. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining us here. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.